Good morning. Today is the 11th of November, and we are at Lily Lake Trailhead. The peak we are going to be attempting to, like there's anyone else in the car with me. The peak I'm going to be attempting today is Mt Lindsey. Usually this late in the year, this would be more of a winter climb than a summer climb. And driving in, I could see a little bit of snow on the mountain, but it doesn't look, and knock on wood, doesn't look like it's going to be anything crazy. So we are in the parking lot right now. The drive-in is a bit of a wild card sometimes. I know it's a pretty popular question online when people are researching Mt Lindsey. I would say the drive is doable in a lower clearance two-wheel drive car, but if you can get your hands on an all-wheel drive, especially or a little bit higher clearance car, it would probably make things easier. It's not four-wheel drive driving like, big ruts or anything like that. There's a couple spots like that, but really there's a couple steep sections that if you have a two-wheel drive, it might not be fun for you. So it's about 8 o'clock in the morning here on a Friday. There's two other cars in the parking lot, so I don't expect it to be too crowded, and quite frankly, I don't know how popular Mt Lindsey is even on busy weekends. But something to keep in mind, you can kind of see the parking area here. It's basically a roundabout, so if it does get crowded, like if you're going on a 4th of July, Labor Day weekend type thing, I would just probably camp in the area. Speaking of camping, there are some camping spots along the way here. This is County Road 380, and that's basically what you follow the whole time. Just be careful, though. There are sections of private land along the way that, obviously you don't want to get in trouble or yelled at camping on. As far as the trailhead goes, it's not very flat around here. I'm just kind of checking it out. I'm sure you could find some camping if you needed it, but it probably wouldn't be ideal. So yeah, look forward to the hike today. It is a class 3 with some class 4. The big choice is whether to go the northwest ridge or just go up the standard north route. So we'll see when we get up there what the conditions are like, but it should be a fun one. We are only a quarter mile into this hike. Look at the views here. Just absolutely beautiful. So Mt Lindsey is right there. Then you also have Blanca Peak, which is back there. And then we also have a couple other 14ers. Little Bear is back there as well. So this is really a pretty neat area. I'm focused on this peak right here, which is just very jagged looking, even though, it's pretty close here, but just very, very beautiful. So can't wait to get the views at the top. Here we are. We're about 2.41 miles. Excuse me, I'm just adjusting the microphone here. We're about 2.41 miles from the trailhead. As you can see, we have finally broke tree line, We're on the trail. The peak that I thought over here this morning was Lindsey Peak. That is not the case. But in either case, the views of this range here is pretty stunning. This is the 360 right now. So essentially we are just in a big open field, and honestly I'm not sure which one of these peaks behind me are Lindsey Peak or Mt Lindsey. I think this one over here is the Iron Nipple, or this one over here is the Iron Nipple. I'm not quite sure, and then I'm thinking that might be Mt Lindsey. Either case, we'll tell in time. So the first couple of miles the first mile basically lulled you to sleep. It was very flat. You worked through kind of some meadows and such. And then the trail really picked up probably right around 11,000 feet, and you basically follow a stream bed all the way up to where I am now. The trail conditions were pretty good. A little bit of snow, as you can kind of see here on the ground, but nothing too crazy. There was a pretty cool cave along the way that I stopped into and took some pictures of. I always want to go deeper into caves, but I know the dangers of them, and my adventurous side sometimes battles my common sense side. So in either case, hopefully the conditions at the summit will hold up here, and we will check in. I'll check in with you then. So, stand corrected again. That is obviously the peak we're going to, Lindsey Peak, Mount Lindsey. You can see the trail kind of works its way, zigzags up, and that right there is the northwest ridge, and that will be, judging by how it looks right here, the route I'm going to go, but we'll take a closer look when I get a little bit closer. The only reason I don't want to do the Gully is I just can't stand loose rock. It's just not my cup of tea, so we'll see when we get up there though, but just wanted to point that out. Okay, top of the ridge, so we came from there, and we are going up there. So you can see now the ridge line that everyone kind of talks about, that northwest. It's very jagged looking ridge. Like I said, I'm probably going to take that on because if you look to the left of the ridge in that gully, there's a little bit of snow, and that just doesn't look good for the times. Hopefully that plan works out, but we shall see. Working our way up the final ridge here. So we're about 13,400 feet. I have a feeling that I did not go the right route. Looks like I'm going kind of up the, just the north gully here, which isn't too bad actually because the snow. So it's that way. We've come up that. And it just makes me think that this would be pretty cool to snowboard in the winter. But right now, it's definitely not. So hopefully we'll be at the top. I will be at the top soon, and we can enjoy the views. Woo! Made it to the top of Mt Lindsey. So I'm going to keep this very quick because my camera just seems to die all the time here. The hike to the top was a little bit longer than described, about 4.48 miles. I'll be the first to admit that I got lost a little bit, so that could have added a tiny bit, but certainly not an additional, almost mile round trip. The views up here, as you can see, are pretty damn good. You can see the the triple, I'm noodles right now. You can see 3 other 14ers over there in the distance. So I actually just met up with one other guy here on the summit, but besides that, it's been a completely people-free day. Not too surprising since it's a Friday. It is Veterans Day, so shout out to all the vets. But anyway, the hike up was pretty straightforward. The snow made it a little tricky. I ended up taking the standard route for probably more than I would have liked, and then I ended up hooking up with the northwest ridge. So overall,
definitely don't bring a dog on this one. Be prepared for some pretty decent exposure, class 3, class 4 type stuff. Nothing too crazy. Definitely have these suckers here. If you're going to be hiking in the snow, they really, really make a big difference. And a helmet, of course, I'm not wearing one, is probably a good idea when you're coming in the busier months, because when the loose rock starts flying, it's not fun. But yeah, so number 22 in the books for me. Very happy, since this is, as I mentioned, November 11th, 2016, so very late in the year. And you can see really not too much snow. So I probably won't be checking in again, just because I'm going to be getting back to the car probably around dark. But yeah, number 22 in the books. This is Mt Lindsey. Back down on the ridgeline, you can see Mt Lindsey's right there. You might even be able to see a couple people going down the route. So basically, that way right there is going to be the standard route, and then if you go up this way, that's going to be the Northwest Ridge route. I ended up doing a combination of both. The snow made it a little bit tricky to find the trail, but very happy to be down from that. It's not ideal hiking today, but you know what? Take advantage of days that I can. So as far as gear goes for this hike, I would definitely recommend micro spikes if you're coming anywhere near snow period. So really anywhere outside of, I mean, frankly, July, August, bring those, because even if you don't need them for snow, they'll be great to grip the dirt, which is clearly very eaten out in certain parts, especially on the standard trail. So for a full hike review, you can check the link below. Please be sure to subscribe, and thank you for watching.